Well, the most talked about auction of the year, the two-day JFK auction, came to a close at Gurney's Auction House last night, and it raked in a total of $10 million. Now, bidding ran hot and cold. Some items fetched far more than they had expected, like one single line handwritten from JFK's inauguration speech brought in $35,000, which is more than 6 times the expected price. And another piece of rocking chair valued at about $30,000 brought in $300,000. Now that's the upside. The downside is many items fetched far lower than Guernseys had expected. Let's take a look. JFK's handwritten notes on the Cuban Missile Crisis were expected to draw up to $15,000, but they only brought in $5,500. Hats off to one Boston collector who paid $1,300 for this tweed hat. He said he was prepared to shell out $10,000 for it. This bronze bust was a bust in every sense of the word. It was expected to fetch $100,000, but it sold for only $18,000. Robert White hoped to get $800,000 for this much talked about briefcase. When only $700,000 came in, he was ready to pull it from the sale, but his wife talked him out of it. The bidding was so low on JFK's Cartier watch that it was withdrawn from the sale for not reaching its reserve price. Another big-ticket item that didn't sell was the Flash 2, JFK's favorite sailboat. It failed to make a splash. Wow, and on the phone is Bob White, a man who had 300 items up for bids at the JFK auction. Bob, how are you?
Hi, good morning, John.
Good. How are you feeling today?
Fine. I just listened to the piece there, and there's, some truth to it and some behind-the-scenes things, and it's an auction. What can you say? I mean, I'm talking to people that know collecting. It's an auction.
Well,
that's the fun of it, up and down,
Right. We said that it's been running hot and cold. Are you pleased with the end result?
Yeah, the only auction that ever ran hot was the Jackie auction. So every auction's hot and cold, and I'm pleased with the results.
Can I ask, out of $10 million, how much of that were your items?
I have a friend and business manager, along with my wife, who is trying to work that out. It's hard to say. I really don't have any figures yet, but
no ballpark.
After taxes and lawyer fees and all this kind of stuff, I'll probably realize over $1.3 million, something like that.
That's great. Now, you had mentioned earlier in the week that you'd like to start a JFK museum.
Yeah.
Is this going to help? And is that in process?
Well, the auction was touted at $3 to $5 million when it first came about, and it did almost 10. But again, I had a percentage of it, and I don't feel it's enough to really take care of my family and do what I want to do with the museum. So we're going to rethink some things, and I'm going to try and work it out. It was an auction, and I was on there with John Burke the other day, and who's an old friend, and I just wasn't sure. Again, I keep on saying it's an auction, and all collectors out there know what I mean.
Right.
The gentleman that got the hat cheap was a friend of mine, and I'm glad he got it cheap, and I'm glad he likes it.
All right, Bob. Thank you so much for joining us. And
okay.
Good luck. I
love FX, and keep continuing to keep that collecting thing going.
And take a rest. It's been a long week for you.
You got that.
Thank you very much. That's Bob White, a former Super Collector of the Year here on Personal FX. Well, don't go away, because we have a lot of items in the apartment yet to be